Okay. Hi everybody, my name's Emma. I'm going to be your trainer for today. Just tell me that I'm in that video yet. I'm going to be your trainer for today. I'm just going to explain how the session's going to be run, what's involved in the session and what the learning objectives are. So as you know, the work skill that we're going to be learning today is how to do a push-up correctly and safely. The learning objective is to be able to perform that push-up safely and correctly, improve joint stability and muscle co-activation around the joint, shoulder joint, and to build muscle and improve overall strength. The session's going to take about 30 minutes, approximately 30 minutes. There will be, the way it's going to be run today is we will start with just going through some of the benefits of performing the exercise and what muscle groups that the exercise will be working. Then we're going to go into a demonstration, a warm-up, and then you both are going to practice doing the push-up yourself. Then there'll be some knowledge questions at the end of the session, just to test you on today's session and what you've learned from the session. And then at the end, there'll be an opportunity for me to give you both back some feedback. Just to let you know that in the event of an emergency, there are two fire exits, one situated behind you, one over to the left. In the event of emergency, the muster point is just across the road in the park. Okay. We also have toilets that are situated just outside and access to water if need be. Is there any questions so far?
No.
Okay. So we're just going to go through some of the benefits of performing the push-up exercise. So starting with the strengthening of the muscles, so it's going to improve your overall upper body strength as you do this exercise on a regular basis. It's going to improve core stability, improve your balance and posture. It's also going to increase your cardio, so it's going to help benefit your cardiovascular system. It will burn calories as well as you do the exercise, improve your flexibility, protect your shoulders and your lower back. Okay, so that's going to help reduce injury and improve overall body composition as well. So there some of the benefits of performing the push-up and incorporating it into your training routine. The muscles that are being used are your pectoralis major, okay, and your pectoralis minor, your triceps, your anterior deltoids, and your core. Okay, so you're going to be working all of those muscles. Obviously your pectoralis major is your primary muscle that you can be using in this exercise. So like mentioned before, this is the introduction of the push-up and why we're doing it and the benefits, and then we're going to move on to a demonstration. So that's what we're going to do next. Just before we go any further, you would see in front of you that I've given you both a PARQ form just to complete. This is just to check for any injury or illness before performing any type of exercise. So if I can just get you guys to complete those forms for me to check over before we move on to the exercise.
What's the date?
15th? 16th, sorry.
I know. Oh, it's not just gross.
It's disgusting.
I love that.
So this is just a pre-screening tool that we use just to check for any contraindications before performing an exercise.
Yeah.
Is there any issues or questions that either of you have?
Witness one.
So I'm just going to check over them
Yeah.
and make sure that you need to put that one to me.
Awesome.
I'm like the old old bit.
You got a picture?
Not for you.
Special.
Okay, so just obviously reading over your PARQ forms, there is nothing that highlights to me that you can't perform this exercise today, and that we can continue with the training session.
Excellent.
Okay, so now I'm just going to demonstrate how to perform a push-up. I'm just going to go through some of the points that you need to be mindful of when doing this exercise. So in the push-up position, I'm just going to bring the camera down a little bit. Sorry. Okay, so in the push-up position, what we want to try to maintain is alignment in the neck, the spine, and the lower back. Okay, and we want to try and keep our biceps nice and close to our body. Okay, and we want to keep our feet close together. So we start off in this push-up position. Try and imagine you're trying to turn your hands out as you go into that push-up position. So you're going to lower your body, bending your knees to at least 90 degrees, okay, and then driving back up into that top position again. You want to inhale on the way down, so big deep breath in, and then exhale on your way back up again, okay? So just being mindful to keep that spine, lower back, neck, all in alignment, okay? What we don't want to see is any like kind of butts up in the air and a plank push up, or any dropped hips here, so it ends up kind of looking a bit like this, or some sort of strange like movement, okay? We want to make sure we try and get that bend in the elbow, okay? So we, like I said, we want to get at least 90 degrees, okay, as we come down and then driving back up. If you are struggling, you can drop to your knees and perform the exercise in the same way. So you're doing the exact same thing, okay? We want to make sure a couple of other things as well. We want to make sure that we engage that core, okay, as we perform the push-up. So a nice hot, tight core as we go down into that push-up. So it's the same thing. We want to try and get that chest nice and close to the ground, and then driving back up into that position. If you struggle still with on your knees, you can bring your knees closer into your body, so you're in more of a box position, and you can perform the push-up like this, okay? If you still struggle doing that, I'll give you another variation as well. Okay, so just before we do the exercise, we are going to perform a warm-up. Okay, so it's important to always warm up before doing any type of exercise, just to prevent the risk of injury. Okay, we want nice warm muscles that are ready to exercise. Okay, so for our warm up, we're going to just start off with some half jacks. Okay, so we're just going to do little half jacks like this. So if you just want to stand up for me. we're going to do this warm up together.
Didn't tell me there was any of this involved.
So,
I might say this.
we're just going to do 10 repetitions.
Ali's in your business.
No, I just don't want to be sweaty mid-jump.
Okay, so we're just going to do 10 repetitions of half jacks, okay? So bringing our hands and our feet out to the side. So in this motion, so we'll do it together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, from here we're going to do some, so we're going to do some movements for the chest here. So if you just want to grab hold of one of these posts or anything, yep, and you're just going to stretch that chest muscle here by turning in that opposite direction. You should feel a nice stretch going here through the chest. Round.
So tired.
Yep, okay, and then switch arms for me. Ooh, get that nice stretch through the chest. Okay, and we're back into our 10 half jacks again. So we're going back into our 10 half jacks. And now we're going to do some arm rotations, okay? So we're going to go back first. Okay, so we'll do 10 going back. And then 10 going forward. So, just, yeah, warming up the shoulders. Then we're back to our 10 half jacks again. So, get into our 10 half jacks. Okay, and now we're just going to do some torso rotations, okay? So, moving round, we'll do 10 in total of those. So you can do 5 in one direction, and then 5 moving in the other direction.
Is that it?
Yeah. Yes.
Nice crack.
Okay, everybody should be nice and warmed up now. I'm just going to go through the exercise again with the demonstration, talking through the points. So if you are struggling with the push-up, I can give you another variation. That could be a wall push-up where you're up against the wall. It could be an incline push-up where it will just make the push-up exercise a little bit easier if you're struggling. Just a few common mistakes. So just a couple of common mistakes, okay, like mentioned during the demonstration. Try not to let your hips drop. Try not to let your butts be sticking up in the air. We don't want to see flared arms, so we don't want them to be too wide. We want them nice and close to the body. Going too fast as well, so we don't want to be speeding through the exercise. We want to make sure that we're doing those reps nice and correctly and at a suitable pace. Just to mention as well, I'll mention the gym rules at the end, so I can mention now. So just to go through some of the gym rules quickly as well. Okay, so when using the gym, make sure that you're always sanitising the equipment once you've used it. Return any weights. We're not going to be using weights today, but for future reference, if you are using weights, just make sure you return them back to the racks. Make sure that all valuables are kept somewhere safe or locked away. Don't slam or drop the weights onto the floor. make sure that you follow the gym dress code. So you both are in your gym clothes today with good footwear, obviously gym wear. Make sure that you always bring a towel and water, and respect other people's space, okay, personal space. So I'm just going to get you both to get into that push-up position for me. So remember, we're looking for that, keeping neck and spine, lower back, all in alignment. Okay, we want to keep the biceps nice and close to the body, and we are going to bend the elbows now, dropping that weight to at least 90 degrees, inhaling on the way down and driving back up.
Sorry.
That's okay, that's all right, I'll show you an alternative. So we'll do that again for me, Annie. So yeah, and then we're going to push up, exhaling all the way up. Yeah, okay, so we'll try on your knees, Amy. So let's try that same movement. So we want to bend the elbows, and we want to try to almost move forward into that position. So when you're here, you want to lean forward so that, yeah, that's better. Yep, so we'll do a couple more reps there. So inhaling on the way down, and then big exhale on the way back, making sure our core is nice and tight as we perform that exercise. Okay, so we'll just do, let's just go for 2 more repetitions each. Yep, good. 2. Excellent. Okay, how is everybody feeling?
Warm?
Yes, good. Okay. So now we've completed the exercise, I'm going to ask you a few questions on what you have learned today. Okay. Just to quickly go over some of the variations, as that is one of the questions you will get asked. Okay. Like I mentioned, you can, with the push-up, you can go onto your knees. You can use a wall to do your push-ups if you are struggling to do a full push-up on your feet. You can do incline push-ups, which are slightly elevated onto a platform. So your hands will be slightly elevated onto a platform, and it will just reduce the resistance slightly. Your decline push-ups, okay, so that's elevating your feet instead of your hands, and that will actually make the resistance a little bit more difficult. So if you're looking for a way to increase that resistance in your push-ups, then you can elevate your feet. Weighted push-ups, so you can apply weight onto the back to do a push-up, or even put a weighted vest on. And you have your one-arm push-ups as well. If anybody's feeling like they want to give that a go, you will just be using the one hand to push the body up to that starting top position. Okay, so just a few ways to either regress the exercise or to make the exercise a little bit more challenging. Okay, just a few safety points as well. So, safety question. Like I mentioned, making sure that your back is straight and your weight is evenly spread out as you perform the push-up. Make sure your spine is in line with your neck all the way down. If you have any shoulder, wrist or elbow injuries, it's always best to inform your doctor or medical practitioner first, just to get clearance that it's okay to be able to perform this exercise. And always ensure that you engage your core, because that will prevent risk of injuring your lower back. Okay, so we always say turn up the core on, so we want to make sure that core is switched on when we perform all exercises really. Any questions? Nope. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you some of these questions. Okay, so I'll just read out what the questions are, and then you will both complete your knowledge questions. It's going to ask you what the primary muscles being worked during the exercise are, 2 benefits of the push-up, 2 common mistakes, 2 variations that can be performed, what is the starting position of a push-up, what the ideal rep range for a beginner is, what the ideal set range for an advanced individual is, 2 safety points when doing the push-ups, and how many push-ups did you complete yourself in a row. I will just mention a bit about the rep range because I haven't mentioned that. So with the rep ranges, so for a beginner, you'll be looking at doing anything between 5 to 10 reps, okay, and anywhere from 2 to 3 sets of those reps. Is everybody clear on sets and reps?
Yeah.
Yep, you understand that, yeah. For an intermediate, repetitions will start from between 10 and 20, and you can do any sets between 3 to 5. And for an advanced, you could go 20 reps plus, and could be looking at 3 to 5 sets again for an advanced individual. I will now let you complete your knowledge questions, and I will check them at the end. Okay, let's take your push-up questions in now. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to talk through the push-up questions. So first of all, what is the primary muscle being worked during the exercise? Does anyone want to give me that?
Pectoralis major.
Yes. Okay, so like I mentioned before, that is the primary one that we're going to be using in the chest. Okay. 2 benefits of the push-up. So anybody want to give me the 2 answers? Maybe one each.
Body coordination.
Body composition. Yep.
That one.
Cardiovascular.
Yep. So cardiovascular fitness as well. So 2 common mistakes.
Hips dropping.
Yep. The hips dropping.
Back not aligned.
Yep. So the neck, spine, and back not aligned. Yes. Good work. You've been listening. Okay, 2 variations that can be performed alongside the actual push-up itself.
One on your knees.
Yep, so one on your knees.
One with a weight on your back.
Yep, one with a weight on your back. Yep. What's the starting position of the push-up?
On your feet and hands.
Yep, so you're up on your toes and your feet. Yep. and like we've mentioned before, everything to be in alignment. So it's kind of like anybody that knows what a plank is or a bridge, you're in that position before you move into the push-up. What's the ideal rep range of the beginner?
5 to 10.
Yep, and the set range for an advanced
I went
individual.
2 before.
It's
I wrote. I wrote range.
no, sorry,
range,
set range for an advanced individual.
Oh, I
Oh,
wrote
advanced.
You got it right.
3 to 5.
Yep, so
I
3 to
wrote
5 sets. 2 safety
I wrote
points when doing the push-up.
Core engaged.
Yep, so we want to make sure the core is engaged. And another one, Amy?
back aligned.
Yep, so
Right.
back in alignment, yep. So how many push-ups you both did in a row?
4.
So you did 4 and Amy did 2. Okay, so that's something you can then obviously work on in future, increasing those reps. So yeah, your knowledge questions are sufficient. So showing that you've both been listening throughout the session. I'm now just going to give you some feedback on how I felt the session went and how I felt you both performed doing the exercise. Okay, so I'm going to start with Amy. Okay, so you picked up the exercise where you were listening, actively listening throughout the session, and although you struggled with doing the initial push-up on your toes, making that variation of coming down onto your knees, and the first push-up you did on your knees, it wasn't quite correct, but once we got you into that rocking motion, that then by actively listening you then picked up that technique, and that's a starting point for you now on your knees to then hopefully be able to get up onto your feet and be able to perform the push-up. So it's a place for you to improve. But overall your technique was good at the end of it, so really well done on that. Annie, again you listened well throughout the session, your knowledge questions were very good, so that shows that you're obviously listening throughout, picking out all of the information. Your push-up was very good. I think you could improve on your cardiovascular fitness, just because I could hear that you were struggling a little bit with your breathing, so that could be something that you could improve on that will then also benefit the push-up as well. But overall you picked it up very well and performed the exercise correctly and safely, and yeah, you listened throughout, and that reflects in the knowledge questions for today. Is there anything you would like to add or any questions you have for me?
No.
No, good, thanks. Thank you.
Okay, well thank you for coming, and I hope you